You've been grocery shopping before. You know how stores work. You've pushed the cart, grabbed snacks, followed someone else's list. That part isn't new. What's new is this. The first time you grocery shop on your own, everything in that cart is your decision. And you won't really feel it there in the store. You will feel it later when you get home, when you open the fridge and realize that you forgot something basic. It dawns on you that if you don't buy it, it doesn't exist. That's when a completely normal task starts feeling different. The uncomfortable part isn't answering, "What do I buy?" The uncomfortable part is recognizing and accepting the transfer of ownership. At home, groceries were maintenance happening in the background. You saw the fridge. You didn't see the planning. You didn't see someone noticing the milk was low. You didn't see someone building a list. You didn't see someone budgeting around the week. You just opened the door and food was there. Now, you are the one who has to think ahead. If you don't plan dinner, dinner doesn't happen. If you don't buy breakfast food, mornings get interesting. If you forget something basic, there isn't a backup system. That's the shift, not the store. The responsibility. And responsibility makes a familiar place feel new. The first real solo grocery trip usually starts confidently. You walk in, grab a cart, tell yourself this is easy. Then you hit the produce aisle. How many apples is a normal amount? Is 3 enough? Is 8 too many? How long do apples actually last anyway? You move to the protein aisle. Chicken packages look identical, but somehow different. Family size, value pack, thin sliced, boneless, skinless. You pick one mostly because it feels correct. Then you reach the middle aisles. This is where plans disappear. You remember something you forgot. You forget something you remembered. You debate brands like it's a personality decision. By checkout, you're not sure if you succeeded or just collected items. That uncertainty, that's part of it. No one is efficient on their first trip. Efficiency comes from repetition. Here's how to make it less chaotic. Start with meals, not random ingredients. Pick 5 to 7 meals you will realistically eat this week, not new lifestyle meals, not "this is my healthy era" meals. Meals you already know how to make. If you don't cook much, don't suddenly plan complicated dinners every night. Plan repeatable things. Meals that share ingredients. Meals that stretch. Second, check your space before you shop. How big is your fridge? How big is your freezer? Do you actually have containers for leftovers? Buying frozen meals doesn't help if you have one freezer drawer already full of ice. Third, skip bulk sizes for now. Bulk only works when you understand your habits. Buying 24 yogurts because they were on sale sounds smart. Until day 5 when you realize yogurt is not a personality trait. Fourth, check expiration dates. When you're the only one eating the food, things last longer than you expect. A giant container of spinach might not survive your schedule. And yes, don't shop hungry. Shopping hungry turns you into a version of yourself that makes bold decisions with no long-term plan. Everything looks necessary. It isn't. You know the moment it really becomes obvious? When you get home. You unload the bags, put everything away, step back, and look at what you bought. And suddenly you realize you have snacks, you have drinks, you have ingredients, but you don't actually have dinner. That's not failure. That's the learning curve. If this feels familiar, like you're doing normal things but in a completely new role, that's what leaving the nest is all about. The small, practical parts of independence that nobody really explains until you're the one responsible for them. If you're figuring this out in real time, subscribe. We're walking through it one step at a time. The first few trips are less about buying perfectly and more about understanding what a week of food actually looks like. The first trip also usually gets expensive, not because you're bad at it, because you're trying to feel prepared. You buy just-in-case items. You buy ingredients for one ambitious recipe. You buy snacks because independence feels better with snacks. You grab things because they look responsible. Grocery stores are designed to make that easy. Sale signs. end caps, 2-for-1 deals, limited time offers. It's easy to confuse opportunity with necessity. The goal of the first trip isn't perfection. It's observation. You're learning what you actually reach for, not what looks impressive in your cart. Everyone makes the same early mistakes. You buy produce with good intentions. Then it wilts. You buy a sauce for one meal. It lives in your fridge for months. You overestimate how many leftovers you'll eat. You underestimate how quickly bread molds. You forget something basic like salt. None of that means you failed. It means you're calibrating. Grocery shopping has a learning curve. Most of it happens privately in your own kitchen. There's another layer that makes it feel strange. You look at other carts. Someone has a neat list. Someone moves with purpose. Someone seems like they know exactly what they're doing. Meanwhile, you're double-checking how long ground beef lasts. It feels like everyone else figured this out. They didn't. They just practiced longer. Most adults learned through trial and error. Too much lettuce, not enough bread, 4 random beverages, and no actual meals. Confidence at the grocery store comes from repetition, not age. Where you live changes the strategy. If you're in a dorm, storage is limited. Fridge space is small. Cooking options may be basic, so shop smaller, more frequently, more practically. Think microwave friendly, snack forward, things that survive a mini fridge. If you're in an apartment or house, you have more space, which makes it easier to overbuy. Apartment shopping works best when you focus on staples, ingredients you'll reuse, meals that stretch beyond one night, different setups. Same principle. Match your groceries to your actual behavior. Here's why grocery shopping on your own feels weirder than you expect. It's familiar. You've done it before. But this time, you're not observing it. You're responsible for it. No one's filling gaps. No one's adjusting behind you. If something's missing, you feel it. That's new. And the weird part fades the same way it showed up, through repetition. Next week, you'll shop differently. You'll remember something you forgot last time. You'll skip something you overbought. You'll move through the store with slightly less hesitation. Not because you became an adult overnight, because you practiced. Grocery shopping on your own isn't about knowing what adults buy. It's about learning what makes sense for you. And that shift from following someone else's shopping cart to running your own is what makes it feel strange at first. Until it doesn't